in. If you're catching this on the replay, feel free to like type in those questions and somebody will get back to you. One of the admins or somebody will get back to you with a question. But we've got John Richards on here. John is a friend and a partner. Been doing this for several years, not just payment processing, but where his expertise really comes in is in really sales management, helping people really figure out where they're at and how they can best how they can best become a salesperson without really becoming a salesperson. A lot of times when we think about salespeople, we think about, the used car salesman or somebody knocking door to door or something like that. But especially when it comes to payment processing and what we're doing in this industry, I mean, literally, we don't really have anything to sell. We're just offering a solution. And so a lot of it just comes from conversations. And John's really, really good in helping people identify, number one, where they're at and what they have, and then how to use it. So what I mean by that is really like what's in your pocket? What do you have? What's your network? Which is what we're going to talk about today, because a lot of people have a network that they don't even realize they have. Maybe you're in a mom's group, maybe you're in a soccer club, or you're in a you've been going to your same church for 15 years and you know everybody. If you're the kind of person that somebody goes, hey, Roger, do you got somebody that does my AC's on the fritz? Do you have somebody that does that? And you're like, yeah. Or, hey, I need somebody to like drive my mom to the airport tomorrow. Do you know somebody that does airport runs? Yeah, I know that. Or, hey, I'm cooking for like 10 people and I've never done that before. Like, do you know anybody that could help me out? Yeah, I know somebody. So if you are that person that you're like the people person and you're somebody that always goes to go that the people go to, this is really for you, because we're really going to talk about like how do you exploit that? How do you figure out how to turn that into opportunity? But before we get into that, like, hey, John, I just want to introduce you, and maybe you could just take a couple minutes and really, because I mean, we can get into like the networking and all that stuff. That's great, but like, let's take a little bit and let's just talk about the opportunity of what we're talking about and why people would be interested in merchant services. Like some of these moms that have these networks, these people that have these great networks, why would they be interested in merchant services? I mean, is this an issue that businesses have and that they want to solve?
Thanks, Roger. Yeah, there's a lot of problems out there. If we look at what happened, really going into COVID, during COVID, and now, business owners have really gotten squeezed. If we go back and look at, how things were going in 2017, 18, 19, going into 2020, businesses were pretty flushed with cash. The economy was growing, profit margins were up, prices were kind of cost of living was not down, but it was a lot lower than it is today. And when COVID hit, it threw a wrench, obviously, in everything, but especially the small to mid-sized business owner, because the government basically said, shut down and we'll figure all this out. And so basically every business went from zero, from whatever they were doing, to zero. And then next thing they knew is everybody said that you're going to have to stay closed for a while, and they had to figure out how to keep making money. Um, and most businesses that stayed alive figured that part out. And then once they got it figured out, the government said, okay, you can open your doors a little bit. And I'm talking about like the retail and the restaurants and the nail salons and all that kind of stuff. You can open your doors a little bit, but what does that look like? And so they had to continue to adjust. But again, profits are way down because they're not being able to do the volume that they were doing. Plus, all their employees were gone. So basically, the business owner was the only one there doing the work. And then after the government said, okay, you can open your doors a little bit, and people tried to do that, they couldn't get their employees to come back because the government was giving them money to stay at home. So, it was kind of a really getting into a perfect storm kind of scenario. As that continued to ease up, um, we got into a logistical issue because oil prices and shipping and all that kind of stuff spiked. And what happened with that was the cost of everything went up. So the cost of the meat that went into a burger, the bread that went on the sandwich, the lumber that went into a deck, whatever it is, it all went up and it's continued to go up ever since.
Mm,
And we're talking about huge inflation numbers. Like I think meat has gone up by 400% since pre-COVID. Um, so when you have those types of things happening, the business owner gets squeezed. Then you get into a scenario where they start bringing their employees back, and now minimum wage has gone up. So the cost of the employees has gone up by about another 30, 40, 50%. So the reason I share all this is all of these businesses that you're supporting, your community is what we would call it. Your community that you can help by introducing them to people like us is their profit margins have been squeezed. So a lot of them were in the 20 to 30% possibly profit margins. Now they're in the single digits,
mm,
maybe in the teens. So what happens, and part of the reason why people, where you can help your community is to introduce them with people like us that really come in more as a business advocate. How can we help you save money or really eliminate one of the top five costs in your business? Keeping in mind that that nail salon that you're going to, or that hair salon that you go to, or that pet grooming you go to, or your vet, or your restaurant, or the people that fix your car, all of them, all their expenses went up hundreds of percents. And they weren't able to raise their prices that much because nobody would be able to afford it.
mhm,
So now what everybody's looking for, your community, the people that you support in your community by being a customer of theirs, they're looking for ways to be able to increase their bottom line. We come in as a business advocate, helping them eliminate a significant cost out of their business. So by introducing us, that's a way that you can help people in your community that you want to support. What does it do for the person, the referring partner that refers somebody in? It can create an income flow, or it does create an income flow for you that's passive. It's ongoing. These people, once we start working with them, we don't lose clients because it's been an industry where we're cheaper than the other guy and our stuff is shinier. It's not like that anymore. We're taking their cost and turning it to zero. So they don't tend to leave. They don't tend to move. And what happens is by introducing us to somebody, we help them save a tremendous amount of money. So that's a win. You end up getting a residual on an ongoing basis that keeps going for as long as they're still a client of ours, and you don't have any service work around it. So the conversation that we're really having here is how do I monetize my contacts
mm,
without taking up a bunch of my time?
mhm.
And that's really what we're talking about here. You're not selling them, new knives. We're not asking you to go door to door and do what was it, Tupperware parties. That was a thing. Now I'm dating myself, but we're not asking you to do that kind of stuff. What we're asking you to do is introduce us to somebody that you care about them and their business to help them save a bunch of money. In the meantime, you're going to get some passive income that can help you put your kids through college,
Mm,
get you a new car, you know, make that job that you're doing right now, if you'd rather do it part-time and spend more time with your kids, do that, you
yeah,
know, change your lifestyle really is what we're talking about. We have some referral partners that they bring in a good chunk of change every month.
yeah. Yeah, that's really good, John. And I mean, just to get back to like the businesses that are, that really need this. I mean, gosh, I know that we see it all the time. Like there's been a couple gyms in our area. There's some restaurants and stuff that we thought they were doing really well, and we like them, but then all of a sudden they close down, and we're like, well, what happened? It's like we just couldn't afford to keep the doors open, because of these increased expenses. And what a lot of people don't realize is, that that they're spending money. There's fees and there's banking costs and there's all kinds of things that are also on the background. Not only are they hitting with they're getting hit with like inflation and cost of goods and employees and all that stuff, but there's other costs of like their banking fees and all these things that most businesses like pay out of the bottom line, right? So they think they may be doing really good, and even though their profit margin has gone down, they still feel like they're doing good, but at the end of the month they're like, where's all my money going? And it's through these holes and their leaks in their bucket that they don't even realize. And that's one of the things that we help with is we like help these businesses identify like where are the leaks, where's your money going, and we help them identify that and plug those leaks and put that money right back into your business. So just to your point, I mean, we're literally helping businesses, stay in business. We're helping put control back in the hands of the community to let them like help those businesses stay in business and stay afloat. Like, oh my gosh, if I could save my sandwich shop that I go to, if I could just change something a little bit different, then yeah, I'm willing to do it. And I mean, that's what I love about what we do is, we make a difference, when we're sitting down with a client and we can show them, you know, how we're able to not just save them money, but to be able to put that back into their bottom line and see the lights go off like, oh my gosh, this could really help me. But the problem that we face, right, is that these business owners are really guarded, because maybe they've had somebody that's offered to help them before and they've gone down a path that's made even put them in a worse position. So by having these referral partners and people like you guys that are in the community and are in a position to be able to make an introduction to us, it allows us to get in there and really advocate and be on the same side of the table as that business owner, right, John? And really help them out and see and find a good solution for them, right?
Yeah, and that's really where we come in is we're not coming in, you're not referring them to some, sales dog that's just going to drive them crazy. Really what we do is we come in as I said, an advocate for them, but and the reason we could do that is because we're independent. Roger, myself, Amy, everybody on this, we don't work for anybody other than our clients. So we're very similar to an independent insurance agent that doesn't work for Northwestern or Mass Mutual or, New York Life or whatever, which is nothing wrong with those companies, but actually I used to do that kind of stuff. I could sell for all those guys because I was independent then too. And what that meant is we would have the ability in this case to be able to sit on the client side of the desk, really sit down with them, find out what they're doing, how they're doing payments, what do they like about it, what don't they like about it. In a perfect world, how would they like to be doing it? And then we can bring in the appropriate talent or different options of talent to help them do that on a very systematic way and eliminate the cost. So when people ask us, what do? We help people streamline their payments and eliminate fees in an independent way so we can be the last merchant service provider they ever hire.
Mm.
Because we actually tell our clients when we get them going and say, okay, those 5 phone calls you're going to get next week about merchant services? Give them my number. Have them talk to me because I'm your expert. I'm the one that handles your stuff. And if they have something good for you, hey, we may recommend for you to switch over to it.
Mm.
Or I'm going to turn the guy into a rep and pay you a referral fee on the guy.
Yeah.
At the same time, the other thing that I see people when we start talking about the referral partner part is, well, I don't really know anybody. Who painted your house? Who cut your grass? Who cut your hair? Who are you going to call when the window gets busted? You know, who power washes your deck? Who works on your car? These are all you're their clients. And it can be as simple as walking in there and when they send you a bill, you put a little note on that bill when you send it back to them or when you're talking to them, say, thank you for paying the fees for us. And they'll say, what are you talking about? Well, I've got a good friend that can help you eliminate that cost. Would you be interested in talking to him? We're not asking you guys to become salespeople. We're asking just for introductions.
Mm.
I would say over 90% of our business comes from referral partners. We're
Yeah.
very good at making it easy for you all to refer people in, not take up a lot of your time, and not feel like you're responsible for anything that goes on.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it's rare that we can't help somebody.
Yeah.
But think about it this way: the person that just came in and say remodeled your bathroom, you go back to them, introduce them to us. We end up saving that person five, 10, $15,000 a month. What do you think your quote's going to be on your next project? You think think they're going to remember that? Darn
Yeah.
right they are, because
Yeah.
they just put their kid through college or got a new boat or maybe put another truck on the road,
Yeah.
you know. So the round and around we go. A lot of people talk about win-win-win situations. This is a win-win-win situation. It really is. The
Mm.
merchant wins. You win by being a referring partner. We win by getting a new client. Everybody wins.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. John, maybe you could share a couple stories, as before we like get really more into, capitalizing on your network and, going down that hole of like, hey, who cut your hair and all that stuff. I mean, let's talk about some successes. Let's talk about some referral partners, some and the amount of money that people are making. Like we just got off a call today. I was literally sharing with you how we have one of our brand new referral partners is bringing us a client. They're a contractor. And I mean, this is a big contractor. I mean, this is one of those like big accounts, right? That's probably going to put an average of like $600 to $800 a month in her pocket just off of one partner. Now I know that's the exception. That's a big one, but it's pretty exciting. But like, I mean, you and Paul have been, paying referral partners for a long time. Maybe you can just share some other, success stories about how, like, I know that you've got people that have just referred one customer, and I know you guys got a couple others that, like, they referred a couple, and then when they get their check on the month, it's like clockwork. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, here, I've got like somebody else I can send you. So maybe you could share a little bit about some of the referral partner success and
Sure.
some of the income that's being made.
Yeah, and what happens in this scenario, and I'll have a few that come from different walks of life. One of them is a restaurateur out in Southern California. Um, we came in and helped them eliminate fees in three of their restaurants. He was partners in three restaurants. We saved them across the board. They were doing about $500,000 a month in revenue. We saved them close to $15,000 a month. So they
Wow.
liked us a lot. And after they got comfortable with what we were doing, they said, well, I know this guy owns a restaurant. I know this guy owns a restaurant. I think the last check that we sent the last deposit we made for that guy was about $7,500 a
Wow.
month on his referrals. Once he sent that referral to me, the only other time he ever thought about it was when I called him up or sent him an email to give him an update on how things were going.
Mm.
You know, now those are big ones. He's referred us to about five different restaurants that are all very large.
Yeah.
Another one is actually a woman that I shouldn't have said it that way, but I did. Um, she was a woman, but not really necessarily in the business community. And she mentioned her landscaper, and we were just talking and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, I'd love to talk to him. This landscaper is in Northern Virginia. They do their slow months about $350,000 a month. In their upper months, they do about $500,000 a month. Again, we save them anywhere between ten to $15,000 a month. So that client is very happy. I think he might even be doing her lawn for free. Um,
I
but
hope so.
but we send that referral partner is bringing in close to about $1,200 a month. Now
Mhm.
these are big ones. Then I've got others that are everything from college students to other business owners that are clients of ours. to people that are in corporate America and are looking a way to build a way to get out.
Mm.
So they're starting to build. So they'll think about who that person is. I've got another one that just he was getting his car fixed not too long ago, and he did that thing that I was talking about. He was guys, thank you for paying the fees. And the guy said, what are you talking about? Well, I got a guy that tells me you can get rid of him. No, you can't get rid of him. Hey, would you want to talk to him? Sure. We signed that guy up not too long, about a year and a half ago. And I gave him a couple of new terminals, saving that guy, a few $1,000s a month. I think the referral partner's making probably about $120 a month, something like that.
Mm.
Um, she traditionally sends us one about every other month, somebody to talk to, you know. Um, the other ones that happen are as Roger was alluding to, is when somebody sees a business is struggling, you know, they know that they're having a tough time. Um, they see that they're having to lay employees off, that kind of stuff. I just had a conversation with one of our actually it was with our partner. He just told me about a girl that he was talking to that just got laid off. And we started talking to her about what we were doing, and the amount of money we would save that company would probably be more than what the reason she got laid off for, because he couldn't afford to pay her anymore.
Yeah.
And what did we say to her? Hey, give us his number. And we'll tell him that you told us to call him because we could help him. So even though he had to let her go, she's still looking out for his best interest. Who knows? She may get her job back, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll update you on that one if it happens. But a lot of stuff out there, and it's pretty much everybody takes payments, including your church.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So John, what about somebody that because I know this has happened too, where you've had a referral partner. We've had a referral partner that's like sent us business, but they've also introduced us to somebody else who's become a referral partner. So and I know that we as a company we generally take care of that person too, right? So if like we have a referral partner that refers us to another referral partner and they're doing some stuff, we generally
Mhm.
take care of that person that introduced that new referral partner to us with an override, right?
Yeah, it's what's called tier two payouts. We'll do a compensation model over the amount. You get a referral residual or an override on what that person makes. I'll give you a really good story around that. One of our good referral partners referred me to an ISO. That's an independent selling organization. That's what we are. It referred us to one of our competitors. I started talking to these two guys, and it's a small ISO, and they were with another one of our competitors, and they were kind of getting upset that they didn't have that independent nature like what we have, and plus their payouts weren't as much as they thought they were because we're very transparent. Over the few months, I got talking to them, started showing them some stuff, started teaching them some stuff. Long story made short, they came on board with us. They put on 100 new clients since May,
Mm.
since they came on, March, I should say, since March, since they came on with us. The person that referred him in gets paid an override over top of what we were paying those guys anyways. It's doesn't come out of the new ISO's pocket. It comes out of our pocket as to our referral partner. And what this does for him is it's really opened his eyes from the standpoint of, oh, so it's not just the quick serve restaurant. It's not just the barber you're looking for. You're looking for sales reps. We're looking for sales reps, referring partners. Imagine this. Let's say you're in a group of, you um, you're a team mom for a soccer team. So you're connected with all these other team moms and dads and that kind of stuff, and the coaches for a rec soccer league. And you start learning how to become a referring partner. What if you were to turn two or three, five of those into other referring partners?
Mm,
It just grows. Yeah, it sounds like a pyramid scheme. It's not, because we're not asking you to buy anything to sell it.
mm.
All we're doing is saying, you refer us to somebody, we're going to compensate you. And not only are we going to compensate you today, we're going to compensate you on an ongoing basis every time we make money.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, John. It's like, I'm glad you mentioned that because, when we start, talking about, residuals and, overrides and stuff, immediately people go into this like, oh, it's a pyramid thing. And it's like, I mean, I get it. They use a lot of the same terms, right? But we've just like taken a look at a model that like is a great model for compensation and helping people out. And it's like we've just taken the best parts of that and go, well, we can do that. We can do that. We can do that. But like you said, there's nothing to buy, there's nothing to join, there's anything like that. I mean, we're literally just trying to figure out like what's the best way. We've taken a little bit from the insurance industry. We've taken some from like overrides and stuff from network marketing and just really like how can we because we're direct and you talked a little bit to that about that and maybe you can talk a little bit more but because we're direct our profit margin is like we talk about the pizza right like our pizza's this big, other people's pizza may be this big, but because we're direct, we've got all of this stuff and it allows us to be really super generous with the people that bring us business and just make an introduction, not even bring us business. I hate to use that term, but it's like we literally just want the introduction. The biggest challenge that we have in this business is everybody's got their guard up because, they've had somebody that's, taken them down a wrong path or they've made a decision and now they're paying even more than they were. But if somebody comes on and is like, hey, I've got we've got a friend or we know this company that can help a business like yours eliminate a major fee that's in there. Would you be willing to talk to them? And they're like, well, yeah, absolutely. That immediately lowers their guard and it allows us to come in and really see if we can help them. And that's really all we're trying to do. Like I tell people all the time, like we don't have anything to sell. We're literally just helping businesses out. And if we can help them, great. And we can't help out everybody, but those ones that we do, I feel like we make a big, big difference in people's lives.
Yeah, people come, they ask, because when we show people what our rev share is on the referral partners, I've got competitors in the industry and they ask me, how much do you do with referral partners? And when I share it with them, they say, wow, how can you do that? We don't have a big building. We don't need a big building. I don't have hundreds and hundreds of employees. You know, we have direct relationships with the people that actually are the processors that move the money from point A to point B, the service providers from the software and the hardware and all that kind of stuff. We've got direct relationships with them. The support is handled directly by them. We are tier two support. So we're not running this massive organization that has all these people involved. There are people involved are the people that are helping get the word out. Because what you've come across here is really, you're right on the top of a wave that's coming across the whole United States, really.
Mm,
And it's called cash discounted dual pricing. That is how we eliminate the fees for these customers. You guys have seen it. It is now it's not something like we were 5 years ago. We were educating everybody about it. Now the merchants have heard about it and all that kind of stuff. So it's not a if, it's when. It comes down to a timing thing. So when we're having conversations with referral partners, and as we do just a little bit of training with you and really talk a little bit more about who you're connected with and what do I say to these people, that kind of stuff. It's not going to be turning into a salesperson. It's going to be a couple few sentences and that's it. And a very easy way to get the information to us to be able to reach out to them. And then a transparent way for us to communicate to you basically what's going on from now all the way through. The other thing that occurs is this is community has become a very big thing in the United States, and we're seeing communities growing, you know, and they want to help each other out. I was just in a meeting of about 100 business owners here I'm in Richmond, Virginia. And the conversation was 100%, how can we all help each other? It didn't matter that they were in competition with each other and all that kind of stuff. How can we help each other continue to stay in business, but also thrive and grow? Because what happens is, and what's going to probably continue happening, the cost of everything's going to continue to go up. And are we going to be able to withstand? Are those small to mid-sized business owners going to be able to withstand that with everything that's being hit with them? Amazon's everywhere. What does that do to the retailer? How do we get people walking into more stores? That's what the conversation was about. And if we can help people, save money that they can pour into helping them be more profitable for their clients or more beneficial to their clients, it's just again a win-win scenario. Um, as I as we see people get involved in this, the light bulbs continue to fire off. And then they get to a point they're like, almost, I feel a responsibility to introduce these guys to them
Yeah.
because these people need help.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, that's really good, and that's the thing. We when I share this opportunity with people, especially in some of the groups that we're in, like the moms group and the side hustlers group and stuff. There's so much noise in there with, high ticket sales and affiliate sales and cryptocurrency and network marketing and travel agencies, all of these things. But when we say merchant services, people are like, What are you talking about? Like this is like this secret little side hustle that's really making millions and millions of dollars pennies at a time for banks and people that don't know any better. And that's why it's like it's kind of a pattern interrupted, like people stop, like, wait, what is this, like let me find out. And then we have conversations like this and we kind of explain it and stuff, and it makes a lot of sense. So for those people, John, that are maybe here watching, or they're catching us on the replay, like, how does someone get started as a referral partner? Like what's next? What do they what do we do? How do we become a referral partner? How do we get started?
it's really as simple as, communicating that with us. We get you set up with what's called a referral partner agreement. Shows you what we pay out, all that kind of stuff, not only for the clients, but also the overrides for reps and other referring partners. Once that's signed, you'll receive some information on how to share our information, how to communicate back with us on who you're referring in, how it's all going to be tracked. And then probably most importantly, you'll be trained up a little bit, not hours and hours of training, but just a little bit of training on what do I say, you
Yeah.
know, like we shared, one of the ideas is, thanking people for paying your fees. But it could be as simple as you're sitting there, and I'm kind of leaning on the service end, but you're sitting there getting your hair cut and you get into a conversation and you say, okay, well, how things going for you? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, it's tight, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've got a friend that actually, a business advocate that actually helps people like you eliminate a significant cost out of their business. Would you like to meet them?
Hmm.
Uh, sure. What do they do? Well, I'm not 100% sure, but what they do is they help businesses save a lot of money by eliminating a significant cost out of their business. Would you like to meet them? Yeah, I guess, but what do they do? Well, you may throw me out of here or whatever, but they do merchant services or payment processing. But so if you're still paying any fees, they help take those fees to zero. They're not looking to make it cheaper. They're looking to make it go to zero. So the
Hmm.
conversation is literally
Don't worry about it, nothing
that's
like that, even if it goes inactive for a few.
low, not threatening. Um, so the shorter answer to your question, Roger, is click on the button, or reach out to how you're going to be communicated with on how to sign up and to
Yeah.
find out not only the more information, but to get signed up. And once you get signed up, we have you up and running in a week.
Yeah, I mean it's great. So number one, it doesn't cost anything. There's nothing like so if you're watching this, you put your wallets away. There's nothing here that we're trying to sell you or buy or anything. But it is genuinely we're just trying to figure out like where you're at and what you have, and we're going to help you have those conversations because you'll notice how John kind of just went through that, and that's great, John. I appreciate that. How you went through and we don't expect you to have all the answers. You didn't see John when he was going through that scenario of like, oh, well, let me tell you about, dual pricing and let's talk about merchant services. Like we don't expect you guys to know all of that as a referral partner. Now, if you wanted to become a full-blown agent, we've got other avenues and things like that for where we'll train you on that. But for referral partners, like we don't want you to know a lot because we're trying to protect you from getting into conversations that you don't have the answers to for a couple reasons. Number one, it's going to frustrate you because you're not going to know all the answers. And number two, it's going to put your merchant, the person you're talking to, in a position to where they're going to make a decision based on experiences and previous knowledge that they are going to make a decision whether they want to move forward or not. And we want to keep that as vague as possible. And we want you really to lean on us like, hey, I don't know, these guys are the experts. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but it sounds like you might be able to, to benefit from saving a bunch of money. Would you like an introduction? And we just put you in those scenarios, and we don't want to put you in something where you're not able to answer a question or anything like that. Another great one is like, when you're talking about, in getting your haircut or your landscaping or anything like that, especially, we're coming up on quarter four, we're coming around the first of the year, people are going to be raising their prices. And it's like, that's a natural conversation of like, oh, you're raising your prices. Like, how are things going? Oh, well, and they're always apologizing like, well, our costs have gone up and all of this stuff. And it's a great way to segue in. And when you become a referral partner, you have access to us and we'll literally get on a phone call with you and we'll talk to you and ask you like, what's your sphere of influence? Who do you talk to? Like, how do you handle this situation? Or you call us and go, hey, I just talked to my landscaper and he's raising my prices. What do I do? We'll literally coach you through that and help you out and do that because we want to see you succeed and we want to help that business as well.
And the cool part around that, Roger, is when somebody is raising their prices, or you even talking to a business owner and you ask them how it's going, they raise, if your landscaper or whatever is raising their prices, ask them why. And most of the time they're going to say it's because the cost of everything's gone up. They're having problems with keeping employees and getting people to show up, so they got to pay them more. So again, expenses, expenses, expenses. We're talking about eliminating a top 5 expense in their business.
Mm.
Every business, the top 5, if they take cards, top 5 cost is always payment processing. It always is. It doesn't have to be that way. The other thing around all of this is, as Roger was alluding to, we're not asking you to become a salesperson. What we really want you to do is learn how to be a carrot dangler. Just dangle that carrot a little bit. Just dangle a little bit. Well, these guys, they helped Joe eliminate, a bunch of money out of, they helped Joe save a bunch of money. Want to meet Joe's friends? Tell you, you get a couple of them going, they're just going to start falling out of the trees.
Yeah.
Let me answer one other thing that you might be thinking. Why don't these guys do it themselves?
Mm.
Why are they so adamant about getting referral partners? This is where our best clients come from. I can teach a salesperson. I've been teaching salespeople, and I will date myself, for 40 years. Yeah, I know I started very young. But the point is I can teach a salesperson to sell anything. That's easy. Teaching them how to prospect, teaching them how to get past that gatekeeper is very difficult. And the hard part of teaching them that is not the skills to do it, but getting them motivated to do it. What you do as a referral partner is you get us past that gatekeeper.
Mm.
That's why we compensate you highly for that.
Yeah.
This ain't 10% rev shares. It's a lot more than that, more than double.
Yeah.
So we take our referral partnerships very seriously because we know you're the ones. that are going to get us in front of the people that we're going to be able to help and continue to grow at the level that we're growing, which is kind of insane right now, which is a good problem to have.
Yeah, and I mean, if you were to compare this to like a bird dog, hey, somebody like, hey, thanks for sending me that guy that bought the car, or thanks for referring that person that I just sold them a house. Here's a couple $100, right? Or an affiliate program where it's like you sell a program and you're going to get a percentage of it, and it's like here you go, and then next month you got to turn it around again. Like, like I don't know. I feel like we're kind of a little crazy, but it's okay.
I
We
I was
literally,
actually sitting in a network meeting the other day, and I saw this guy give people 3 Target gift cards for $50 a piece. He's an HVAC guy, and I guarantee that each one of those units that were going in, they were probably somewhere between 15 to $50,000 jobs,
yeah,
and he's handing them a $50 Target gift card.
yeah,
More power to him,
yeah.
you know.
But yeah, it's a one-time thing. It's like here, and you may feel great, like, hey, that's great. I mean, I'd like a $50 a $50 gift card, but I would also like to know, like, well, wouldn't it be great if I got a $50 gift card every month?
Yeah,
What if it was $100 gift card every month? Or what if it, I mean, like John, I'm just gonna, I mean, like I'll get into the numbers here a little bit, like for you guys just to understand like what it is. It's just so we're not vague. I want to give you real numbers and then we'll wrap up here because I know we're coming up on time, but I want to leave you guys with this. So let's just take a business. So let's just do some round numbers. Okay, so a business that's actually processing about $100,000 a month in processing. We're using $100,000 because it's very round, but that's very doable for a landscaper. It's very doable for a guy that runs an auto shop, a painting company, a house cleaning company. Somebody that like has a couple crews that so it's a pretty established business. But for every $100,000 that is processed a month as a referral partner, you guys are going to make around it's around $200 a month on average is what we're seeing, right, John?
yep,
Yeah. So, I
every
mean,
month.
so think about that every single month. I literally had a call today with somebody who was like we talked about earlier on the call. It was a big, big company, but she's looking at just off of one account, she's looking at averaging around $800 a month in in a referral fee off of just one client. So, maybe that's one client, but maybe you refer like four clients to do that, and and you're getting an average of $200 off a client. That's an extra $800 a month. Like so, if for every $100,000 you're making $200,000, how many clients do you need to refer to be able to get what you need done? Why are you looking for a side hustle? Do you need to do you need to make ends meet? Are you looking for an extra $1,000 a month? Well, we know how much volume you'd need to create to be able to do that. Are you looking to cover a car payment? Are you looking to buy a new set of tires? Are you looking to maybe get rid of that job that you hate and after figuring it out, you're like, oh, that's gonna I make $1,500 a month off of this side hustle, but it's taking me away from my kids and I'm not there when they get home from school. Maybe you need to help your kid get through college or pay some tuition. Like these are real things that we help our referral partners solve every bit, and we've been doing it long enough that not only can we help you when you tell us a dollar amount, we actually know, and this is the beauty, right, John? We can help them work backwards from that. We can be like, okay, so we know how, on average, how many clients you need to do, how many introductions you need to make, how many like calls that needs, and we can literally like work backwards and come up with a plan for you to get whatever you want to get. And my camera just died. My battery
It's
just
all
died.
good.
So you guys can still hear me, but my battery
Yeah.
just died. But that's great because we're about wrapping up anyway. But any kind of final thoughts you want to put on that to put a bow on it?
I got a funny spin to the landscaper as well. So let's say your landscaper is somebody that you referred to us, and the reason you referred to him because you got into that conversation because he's raising his pricing. He becomes a client and you're a referring partner on him. You want him to raise his prices because you're going to make more. So let's say your husband or your wife or whatever in the family, you guys own a restaurant or you guys own a landscaper or you own whatever. What if you get another restaurant to come work with, will come doing, processing with us? Now you're making money when somebody goes across the street and eats their burger. When I said that to that restaurant owner guy that I was talking about that we pay a lot of money to, I said that to him. He goes, "That's brilliant." And I tell you, he referred the guy across the street. That guy signed up, because they're both doing it at the same time. So it made it a lot easier.
Is that a win, 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 win?
Yeah, that's just going on up the deal. One of the things and I think I'd leave you with this. A lot of this can be overwhelming.
I'm back.
Welcome back. A lot of this can be overwhelming. I don't know how to do this. I've never been in sales. This makes me very uncomfortable. Go back to the why. Why are you doing it? One, you're helping your community save money. You're helping them stay in business, be more profitable. All right. Two, you're going to bring in some money to help your family without taking up a lot of your time, probably really none of your time. Three, I don't know how to do this. You don't need to know how to do this. We're going to sit down with you. And as Roger alluded to, you want to take the time, we will sit with you one-on-one and say, okay, who do you know? What do they do? We'll give you a few sentences to say every single one of them. Once you've done it 4 or 5 times, it's like, oh, this is easy. Nothing to it. But really, probably the most important thing is by spreading this out here, the tentacles can go wherever you want it to go. Let's say you are a soccer mom and you're involved in a rec soccer league and all that kind of stuff. We didn't even get into what if we get introduced to the soccer league. We could teach them how to become rev share partners, referral partners, and help money coming into the little league that needs a new field or needs a new batting cage. I was just talking to high school with where I coach, and my daughters played lacrosse and that kind of stuff. And I asked the director, the athletic director, what do you need? And he said, a batting cage. How much is it? 10 grand. Who are those people that have that banner up there by the football stadium that cuts grass? Get me in front of that guy. I'll give you 25% of everything I make. What? That's what he actually said. What? That would be awesome. So give me his number. Tell him I'm going to give me a call. Tell him I'm going to be giving him a call. That's all it is to it. So we appreciate your time.
That's perfect. Hey, thanks, John. I appreciate your time. We're going to be doing trainings like this pretty regularly, so stay tuned and share. If you guys have questions, just reach out, make comments on this. We're monitoring the comments on this. If you've got our direct information, feel free to reach out. But there's nothing to hide here. We're open, we're transparent. And we're really looking for partners that want to make a difference and earn a little something for it. So appreciate your time, guys. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Again, reach out if you've got any questions, and we appreciate it. So we'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, John.